Dr. Lisa Martinez stared at her computer screen. The numbers made no sense. She had been working at the big radio telescope in Puerto Rico for 12 years. She knew what space signals looked like. This was different. "Kevin, come look at this." She called to her friend across the room. Dr. Kevin Blake walked over to her desk. His coffee was still hot in his hands. "What did you find?" "Look at these patterns. They repeat every 37 seconds. But listen to this." Lisa played the audio from her speakers. Strange sounds filled the room. They were not random like normal space noise. Kevin put down his coffee. "That sounds like language." "That's what I think too, but it's not from Earth. The signal comes from far away, really far away." The two scientists worked all night. They used every computer program they had. Slowly, the alien message became clear. It was a cry for help. The message was simple, but terrible. A race called the Zalani lived on a planet far from Earth. Bad aliens called the Hegemony had attacked their world. The Hegemony was killing the Zalani people. They were taking their planet piece by piece. "We have heard stories of humans," the message said. "Other races say humans are brave. Other races say humans fight for what is right. We beg you to help us. We are dying." Lisa felt sick to her stomach. "Kevin, this is real. These people are being killed right now. We need to tell someone important, fast." They called Admiral Jake Morrison. He was the head of Earth's new space military. Lisa had met him once at a science meeting. He was a tough man who had fought in many Earth wars. Morrison arrived at the telescope station within 6 hours. He brought soldiers and scientists with him. They all listened to the alien message again and again. "How far away are they?" Morrison asked. 47 light years, Lisa answered. "That's very far, but not impossible to reach." Morrison looked at the star charts. "The Zalani sent this message to us. They could have sent it to anyone, but they chose Earth. They chose humans." "What does that mean?" Kevin asked. "It means they think we're different from other races. They think we'll actually help." Morrison left the telescope station and flew straight to Washington. He walked into the White House and asked to see the president. The guards knew him well. They let him pass. President Helen Carter was in a meeting about trade deals. Morrison knocked on her door. "Admiral, this better be important," the president said. "Ma'am, aliens are asking for our help. They're being killed by other aliens. They want us to save them?" The president stopped talking about trade deals. "Show me everything." Morrison played the alien message on his laptop. The president listened twice. Her face grew serious. "How many ships do we have?" she asked. "For war. Maybe 300 good ones. But we could use more if we had to. Use more. Use everything that flies." "Ma'am, that would mean we're going to war in space." "Yes, Admiral. That's exactly what it means." Within 1 hour, the president was on television. She spoke to the whole world. "My fellow humans," she said. "Today we learned that we are not alone in the universe. Aliens exist, and some of them need our help. Evil aliens are killing good aliens. The good aliens have asked us to save them. America will not turn away from people who need help. Earth will not turn away." The world went crazy. Every news station played the alien message. Every government called emergency meetings. Some leaders said it was too dangerous. Others said it was not Earth's problem. But something amazing happened. People volunteered to help. Pilots wanted to fly spaceships. Soldiers wanted to fight the bad aliens. Engineers wanted to build weapons. Even old people wanted to help somehow. Morrison returned to his office. His phone rang all day. Ship captains called him. "Admiral, my ship is ready for war." Factory owners called him. "Admiral, we can build missiles." Even kids called him. "Admiral, we want to help the aliens." In 1 week, Earth changed completely. Every spaceship was being turned into a warship. Cargo ships got missile launchers. Passenger ships got armor plating. Even small science ships got weapons. The alien message played on every radio station. People heard the Zilani voices begging for help. They heard the fear and sadness in the alien words. We sent our message to 12 different star systems, the Zilani had said. 11 races sent back messages of sorrow. They said they could not help. They said it was too dangerous. Only humans sent back a different message. Only humans said they would come. Lisa worked day and night to send messages back to the Zilani. We are coming, she transmitted into space. Hold on, Earth is coming to help you. The Zilani sent back one more message. It was shorter than the first. We will try to survive until you arrive. Thank you for being different from other races. Thank you for caring about strangers. Morrison stood in the big space station above Earth. Through the windows, he could see hundreds of ships being built. Each one had weapons. Each one had brave humans inside. Sir, his assistant said, the fleet will be ready in 1 month. Morrison nodded. Good. Send a message to all ships. Tell them we're not just going to fight. We're going to win. Those aliens asked the wrong species for help if they wanted someone to be careful and quiet. What should I tell them we're bringing? Morrison smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a man who was very angry about bullies hurting innocent people. Tell them we're bringing everything we have. And tell them we're bringing something the galaxy has never seen before. What's that, sir? Human anger. The righteous kind. The kind that doesn't stop until the bad guys are gone. All over Earth, the message was the same. Humans were going to war. Not for land or money or power. They were going to war because strangers had asked for help. That was reason enough. Captain Ryan Tucker stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance. The big ship floated in space above Earth. Through the front windows, he could see hundreds of other ships. They were all getting ready for war. How many ships do we have now? Ryan asked his second-in-command. 2,847 ships, Captain. More are coming every day. Ryan had never seen so many ships in one place. There were big warships with thick armor. There were small, fast ships with missiles. There were huge cargo ships that now carried weapons instead of goods. Sir, Chief Engineer Amy Foster is here to see you. Amy walked onto the bridge. She was covered in grease and oil. She had been working for weeks without much sleep. Captain, we have a problem, Amy said. These ships were not built for war. We're putting weapons on cruise ships. We're putting armor on science ships. Some of these ships might break apart when we start fighting. Ryan looked at the fleet through the window. Amy, are they better than nothing? Yes, sir. Much better than nothing. Then we use what we have. Make them as strong as you can. Amy nodded. She understood. This was not about having perfect ships. This was about helping the Zilani before they all died. Down on Earth, Sergeant Major Carlos Rodriguez was training soldiers. The training camp was bigger than any military base ever built. 150,000 people had volunteered to be Space Marines. Listen up. Carlos shouted to a group of new soldiers. You're not fighting for your country anymore. You're fighting for your species. You're fighting for people you've never met on a planet you've never seen. Anyone who has a problem with that can go home now. Nobody went home. The soldiers came from every country on Earth. Americans stood next to Russians. Chinese soldiers worked with British soldiers. Old enemies were now friends because they had the same mission. Sergeant Major, a young soldier asked, what if we're not strong enough? What if the alien weapons are too powerful? Carlos smiled. Son, have you ever seen a human who was really, really angry about something unfair? Yes, sir. Then you know we're going to be just fine. The soldiers trained with new weapons. Human engineers had built guns that fired metal bullets very fast. They had built bombs that could destroy whole buildings. They had built suits of armor that could stop most attacks. But the best weapon was the soldiers themselves. They were all volunteers. They all believed in the mission. They all wanted to help the Zilani back in space. Ryan watched as his engineers put weapons on every ship. The big ships got massive cannons. The small ships got missiles. Even the medical ships got some guns for protection. Captain Amy reported, "We've finished putting weapons on the passenger ship Morning Star. It now has 40 missile launchers." "What? About the cargo ship Big Thunder?" "That one is special. We filled it with nuclear bombs. If we need to, we can crash it into an enemy ship. The explosion will destroy anything nearby." Ryan nodded. Humans were good at finding creative ways to fight. Other races in the galaxy followed strict rules about war. Humans followed one rule: win and save the innocent people. Admiral Morrison visited the fleet every day. He checked on the ships and talked to the captains. Each captain had the same question: "When do we leave?" "Soon," Morrison always answered. "Very soon." The truth was that Morrison was waiting for something special. Human scientists had been working on a new type of engine. It would let the ships travel faster than light. The trip to the Zilani planet would take months instead of years. Admiral Dr. Lisa Martinez called him on the radio. "We got another message from the Zilani." Morrison listened to the new message. The Zilani voices sounded weaker than before. "Human friends," they said, "the hegemony has destroyed 3 of our cities. They are taking our people as slaves. Please, hurry if you can. We are running out of time." Morrison felt anger burn in his chest. He had spent his whole life fighting bullies. Now he was going to fight the biggest bullies in the galaxy. "Lisa, send a message back. Tell them we leave tomorrow." "Tomorrow? Are we ready?" "We're ready enough. And the Zilani can't wait anymore." The next morning, every human on Earth watched the news. The space fleet was leaving. It was the biggest event in human history. Ryan stood on his bridge as the Defiance prepared to leave Earth orbit. Around him, thousands of other ships were doing the same thing. Big ships and small ships, new ships and old ships. All of them carrying humans who wanted to help strangers. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," the radio crackled. "Today we leave Earth for the first time as a united species. We're not going to explore. We're not going to trade. We're going to fight. We're going to fight for people we've never met because they asked for our help. That's what humans do." The ships started their engines. One by one, they disappeared into hyperspace. Blue flashes lit up the sky as each ship jumped to faster than light speed. On Earth, people watched and cried. They were proud of their species. They were proud that humans were the kind of people who answered calls for help. In space, the Great Fleet flew toward the Zilani planet. The journey would take 3 months. Every day, the humans practiced fighting. They learned to work together. They prepared for the biggest battle in human history. Ryan walked through his ship every day. He talked to his crew. They were scared, but they were also excited. They were going to save an entire alien race. "Captain," a young officer asked, "what if we lose? What if the hegemony is too strong?" Ryan looked at the stars through a window. Somewhere out there, the Zilani were waiting for help. Somewhere out there, evil aliens were hurting innocent people. "Then we'll lose fighting for something good," Ryan said. "But I don't think we're going to lose. I think the hegemony is about to learn something new about humans." "What's that?" "They're about to learn that we keep our promises, and we promise to help." The fleet flew on through the darkness of space. Behind them, Earth waited for news. Ahead of them, the Zilani waited for rescue. And somewhere in between, the hegemony had no idea that their worst nightmare was coming. It was coming with engines roaring and weapons ready. It was coming with the fury of an entire species that had heard a cry for help and decided to answer it. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. Captain Ryan Tucker stared at his screens in horror. The The Zilani star system was a war zone. "My God," whispered his weapons officer. "Look at all those ships. Enemy." Ships surrounded the Zilani home planet. There were hundreds of them. They were big and dark and covered with weapons. These were the hegemony ships that had been killing the Zilani. "Sir," the radar operator called out, "I'm seeing explosions on the planet's surface. They're bombing the cities." Ryan felt sick. But hegemony was not just conquering the Zilani. They were destroying them. As he watched, bright flashes appeared on the planet. Each flash was a city being destroyed. "Get me Admiral Morrison," Ryan ordered. Morrison's face appeared on the screen. He was on his command ship at the back of the fleet. "Captain, what do you see?" "It's bad, sir. Really bad. They're not just attacking military targets. They're killing everyone." Morrison's face went hard. "How many enemy ships?" "About 400, sir. But they're spread out around the planet. They're not expecting us." "Good. Commander Williams, take your scout ships and get closer. I want to know everything about those enemy ships." Commander Beth Williams was the leader of the small, fast ships. Her job was to sneak around and gather information. She took 12 ships and flew closer to the planet. "Stay quiet," she told her pilots. "No radios, no active sensors. Just watch and learn." The scout ships were painted black and moved very quietly. The hegemony ships did not see them coming. Beth watched through her telescope as the enemy ships did their terrible work. The hegemony ships were bigger than human ships. They had energy weapons that shot bright beams of light. They had shields that could stop most attacks. But they moved slowly and seemed to follow the same patterns over and over. "They're lazy," Beth realized. "They've been winning for so long that they don't expect anyone to fight back." While Beth watched the enemy fleet, Lieutenant Danny Cooper was on a different mission. He was flying a small rescue ship near the planet. His job was to save any Zilani who were trying to escape. Danny saw a small ship flying away from the planet. It was damaged and leaking air. Inside were probably Zilani refugees trying to get to safety. "This is human ship calling Zilani vessel," Danny said into his radio. "Do you need help?" The alien ship sent back a message. It was in the Zilani language, but Danny's computer translated it. "Human. Did you say human? The humans came? The humans really came. Yes, we came. We're here to help. Follow me to safety." Danny led the Zilani ship to a safe area behind an asteroid. When both ships landed, Danny put on his spacesuit and went outside. He had never seen a real alien before. The Zilani were beautiful. They looked like people, but their skin was pale blue and seemed to glow slightly. Their eyes were large and full of sadness. They moved gracefully, like dancers. "I am Elder Zara," the leader of the Zilani said. Her voice was soft and musical. "We sent our message to many races. All of them said they could not help. All of them said it was too dangerous. Only humans said they would come. We keep our promises," Danny said. "How bad is it down there?" Elder Zara's eyes filled with tears. "The hegemony has destroyed half of our cities. They are taking our people as slaves. They are stealing our resources. We have maybe 1 million people left alive." Danny felt anger burning in his chest. "How many of you were there before?" 50 million. Danny was quiet for a long time. 49 million Zilani had been killed. The hegemony had committed genocide. They had almost wiped out an entire species. "Elder Zara," Danny said, "we're going to stop them. We're going to save your people. And we're going to make sure the hegemony never does this again. But they are so powerful. They have conquered dozens of worlds. They have weapons we cannot understand." Danny smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who was very angry and ready to fight. "Elder Zara, let me tell you something about humans. We don't like bullies. We really don't like bullies who hurt innocent people. And we especially don't like bullies who kill children." Back with the main fleet, Admiral Morrison was getting reports from all his scouts. The picture was becoming clear. The hegemony had 400 ships, but they were spread out. They were not ready for a real fight. "Sir," Commander Williams reported, "the enemy ships are using predictable patrol patterns. They're not communicating much with each other. I think they're overconfident." "What about their weapons?" "Energy beams, sir. They're powerful, but they take time to recharge, and their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, not physical projectiles." Morrison nodded. That was important information. Human weapons were different from most alien weapons. Humans still used bullets and missiles and bombs, physical weapons that hit hard and fast. "Sir," Captain Tucker called on the radio, "we just rescued some Zalani civilians. They want to speak with you." Elder Zara's face appeared on Morrison's screen. The alien woman looked tired and scared, but there was hope in her eyes. "Admiral Morrison," she said, "I have heard about humans from other races. They say humans are violent and dangerous. They say humans fight wars over small things. But they also say humans protect the weak and help the innocent. What do you think, Elder Zara?" "I think humans are exactly what the galaxy needs. Someone who will fight for what is right." Morrison felt a strange feeling in his chest. Pride, maybe, or determination. The Zalani had called for help, and the humans had answered. Now it was time to show the galaxy what that meant. "Elder Zara, can you tell us about the hegemony? How do they fight?" "They are cruel, but they are also arrogant. They have conquered so many worlds that they think they cannot be defeated. They follow strict rules about how to fight. They do not expect enemies to be creative or desperate." "Are they used to fighting humans?" "No, Admiral. Humans are new to the galaxy. The hegemony has never fought your species before." Morrison smiled. "Then they're in for a surprise. Humans don't follow rules about war. We follow one rule: win and save the innocent people." Morrison turned to his communications officer. "Send a message to all ships. Tell them we attack at dawn, Zalani time. Tell them we're going to hit the enemy fast and hard. Tell them we're going to show the galaxy what happens when you mess with people under human protection." The human fleet moved into position. They stayed hidden behind asteroids and small moons. The hegemony ships continued their lazy patrols, not knowing that death was coming for them. On the planet below, the surviving Zalani looked up at the stars. They could not see the human ships, but they had heard the radio messages. Help was coming. The humans were really going to fight for them. "Tomorrow," Morrison said to his captains, "we make history. Tomorrow, we show the galaxy that humans keep their promises. Tomorrow, we teach the hegemony a lesson they'll never forget." The human fleet waited in the darkness. Every ship was ready. Every weapon was loaded. Every human was thinking about the 49 million Zalani who had died and the 1 million who were still alive. Justice was coming, and it had engines and weapons and the fury of an entire species behind it. The attack began at dawn on the Zalani homeworld. The human fleet came out of hiding like a pack of angry wolves. Captain Ryan Tucker led the charge in his big warship, the UES Defiance. "All ships. This is Admiral Morrison," the radio crackled. "Remember why we're here. Remember who we're fighting for. Show them what humans do to bullies." The hegemony ships were caught completely off guard. They had been lazily patrolling the planet, bombing cities, and chasing refugee ships. They were not ready for a real fight. "Enemy ships approaching," screamed a hegemony officer on their command ship. Hundreds of them. Where did they come from? General Vorthok, the hegemony commander, looked at his screens in confusion. His species had conquered dozens of worlds. They had never seen anything like this. The human ships were moving in a chaotic pattern that made no sense. "Fire all weapons," Vorthok ordered. "Destroy them." The hegemony ships fired their energy beams. Bright blue lights cut through space toward the human ships. Some of the beams hit, but they did not do as much damage as expected. "Sir," Ryan's weapons officer reported, "their energy weapons are designed to melt through energy shields. But our armor is just thick metal. It's absorbing the heat." "Good. Fire everything we have." The EU's Defiance fired its main weapons. Instead of energy beams, it fired massive metal bullets. The bullets were moving at incredible speed, 10% the speed of light. They hit the hegemony ships like hammers. The first hegemony ship to be hit simply exploded. The metal bullet went right through its energy shield and tore the ship apart. The alien crew had no time to even scream. "Impossible," General Vorthok shouted. "How did they get through our shields?" "Sir, they're not using energy weapons. They're using solid projectiles. Our shields can't stop them." All across the battle, the same thing was happening. Human ships fired bullets and missiles and bombs. The hegemony ships, with their fancy energy shields, were being destroyed one by one. But the hegemony had more ships and bigger weapons. They started to adapt to the human tactics. Some human ships were hit and destroyed. Good people died in the cold darkness of space. "Sir," Ryan's radar operator called out, "we're losing the corvette Fast Lightning. They're taking heavy fire." Ryan watched as the small human ship was hit by multiple energy beams. It was going to be destroyed. But instead of retreating, the Fast Lightning turned toward the nearest hegemony ship. "This is Captain Murphy," the radio crackled. "My ship is done. 4? But I'm taking one of them with me. For the Fast Lightning crashed into the hegemony ship at full speed. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire and metal. Captain Murphy and his crew were gone, but they had destroyed an enemy ship twice their size. "That's how humans fight," Ryan said, quietly. "We don't give up. We don't retreat. We finish the job." The battle was getting fierce. The hegemony ships were trying to form a defensive line, but the human ships kept attacking from all directions. Some human ships were big and slow, with heavy weapons. Others were small and fast with missiles. The enemy could not predict where the next attack would come from. Colonel Patricia Hayes led the Marine assault on the orbital stations. Her job was to capture the enemy bases that were controlling the planet bombardment. She had 5,000 Marines in armored suits. "Listen up, Marines," Patricia said over the radio. "Those stations are killing innocent people on the planet below. We're going to take them and shut them down. No mercy for anyone who hurts civilians." The Marines' ships crashed into the orbital stations like meteors. The station's defenses were designed to stop other spaceships, not small troop carriers moving at high speed. Inside the stations, the hegemony soldiers were waiting. They were big, strong aliens with natural armor on their bodies. They had weapons that could cut through metal. They thought they were ready for the humans. They were wrong. The human Marines came through the walls like a hurricane. They moved fast and worked together perfectly. When one Marine was hurt, 2 others covered him. When they found enemy soldiers, they attacked with everything they had. "For the Zelani," Patricia shouted as she led a charge down a corridor. Her weapon fired explosive bullets that could punch through the aliens' natural armor. The hegemony soldiers had never fought humans before. They were used to fighting other aliens who followed polite rules about war. Humans followed no rules except winning and protecting innocent people. A group of hegemony soldiers tried to surrender, but Patricia's Marines kept attacking. These aliens had been bombing cities full of families. They had been killing children. The humans were not in a forgiving mood. "Colonel," one of her sergeants said, "they're trying to surrender." "Are there still Zelani being bombed on the planet?" "Yes, ma'am." "Then we keep fighting until every bombardment station is destroyed." Back in space, the main battle was reaching a turning point. The human fleet had lost many ships, but they were winning. The hegemony was losing ships faster than they could replace them. Major Steve Adams was flying a small attack ship called the Hornet. His job was to hit the enemy command ship and disrupt their communications. but his ship had been badly damaged. His engines were failing, and his life support was running out. "This is Major Adams," he said into his radio. "My ship is dying, but I can still move. I'm going to ram the enemy command ship." "Major, wait for backup," Admiral Morrison replied. "We can send help." "No time, sir. If I don't hit their command ship now, they'll reorganize, and more humans will die." Steve pushed his engines to maximum power. The Hornet flew straight at the huge hegemony command ship. Enemy weapons fired at him, but he was too small and moving too fast to hit. "For Earth," Steve shouted. "For the Hornet crashed into the command ship's bridge. The explosion was massive. The command ship's communications array was destroyed. General Vorthok himself was killed in the blast. Without their commander, and without communications, the hegemony fleet fell apart. Ships tried to retreat, but the human ships followed them. There would be no escape for the aliens, who had killed 49 million innocent people. All enemy ships, Admiral Morrison, broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Admiral Morrison of the human fleet. You have committed genocide against the Zilani people. You have murdered millions of innocent civilians. Surrender now or be destroyed." Some hegemony ships tried to surrender. Others tried to run. A few kept fighting to the end, but the result was the same. The human fleet was victorious. Within 6 hours, the battle was over. The hegemony blockade was broken. The bombardment of the planet had stopped. The surviving Zilani were safe. Ryan stood on his bridge and looked at the wreckage floating in space. Many human ships had been destroyed. Many good people had died. But they had won. They had saved the Zilani. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're getting a message from the planet. It's from the Zilani." Elder Zara's face appeared on the screen. She was crying, but they were tears of joy. "Admiral Morrison, Captain Tucker, all brave humans," she said. "You have saved our people. You have given us our world back. We will never forget what you have done for us." Morrison's voice came over the radio to all ships. "All human vessels, this is Admiral Morrison. The battle is won. The Zilani are safe, but our job is not finished. We're going to make sure the hegemony never does this to anyone again." The human fleet had won its first battle in space. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had learned that humans were not just another species. They were protectors. They were the ones who answered when innocent people called for help, and they were very, very good at fighting. 3 months after the battle, Captain Ryan Tucker stood on the bridge of the new Kepler station. The space station orbited the Zilani homeworld like a protective guardian. Through the windows, he could see human and Zilani ships working together to rebuild the damaged planet. "Captain," his communications officer called out, "we're getting another distress signal. This one is from the Corvin system." Ryan sighed. This was the 15th distress call they had received since the battle. Word had spread across the galaxy that humans actually answered calls for help. Every oppressed species in the galaxy was now sending messages to Earth. "What do the Corvins say?" Ryan asked. "The same thing they all say, sir. Evil aliens are attacking. Them they're being killed and enslaved. They heard that humans fight for innocent people. They're begging for help." Ryan looked at the message on his screen. It was very similar to the original Zilani message. A peaceful species was being destroyed by a militaristic empire. They had heard that humans were different from other galactic races. They were asking for help. "Send it to Admiral Morrison," Ryan said. "He'll want to see this." Down on the planet's surface, Admiral Morrison was meeting with Elder Zara and other Zilani leaders. They were discussing the formation of a new alliance between Earth and the Zilani homeworld. Admiral Elder Zara said, "We want to offer our people's knowledge to help humanity. We have medical technology that can heal injuries instantly. We have telepathic abilities that can help with communication. We have energy sources that are clean and powerful." "And what do you want in return?" Morrison asked. protection, friendship, and the promise that if another species like the hegemony tries to hurt innocent people, humans will stop them. Morrison nodded. It was a good deal. The Zilani would share their advanced technology. Humans would share their military protection. Both species would benefit. Elder Zara, I think we can make that work. But I need to tell you something. We're getting distress calls from all over the galaxy. Other species want our help too. Will you help them? Morrison looked out the window at the Zilani city being rebuilt. The buildings were beautiful, made of crystal and light. Children played in the streets. Families were together again. This was what they had fought for. Yes, Morrison said. We'll help them. That's what humans do. Back on Earth, President Helen Carter was addressing the United Nations. The whole world was watching as she announced humanity's new role in the galaxy. My fellow humans, she said. 3 months ago, we received a plea for help from strangers. Today, we are no longer alone in the universe. We have allies, we have friends, and we have enemies who know that Earth will not tolerate genocide. The president clicked a button, and a holographic display showed the galaxy. Red dots showed systems controlled by evil empires. Blue dots showed systems that had asked for human help. Green dots showed systems that were now under human protection. We are building a new kind of alliance, the president continued. Not based on conquest or profit, but based on protection and friendship. Any species that wants to live in peace can ask for our help. Any species that wants to hurt innocent people will face our anger. In the audience, Dr. Lisa Martinez smiled. She was now the first human ambassador to an alien species. Her job was to communicate with all the different races that were contacting Earth. Dr. Martinez, a reporter asked after the speech, how many species have asked for help? 47 so far, Lisa answered. And the number keeps growing. Word is spreading that humans are different. We actually do something when people ask for help. Can we help them all? We're going to try. We're building new ships every day. We're training new soldiers every week. And we're making new friends every month. Above Earth, the shipyards were working day and night. New ships were being built with names like U.S. Liberator, U.S. Justice, and U.S. Never Again. Each ship represented humanity's promise to protect the innocent. The ships were bigger and better than the first fleet. They had Zilani healing technology for the crews. They had new weapons designed specifically to fight the kinds of aliens who hurt innocent people. They had one thing that no other galactic fleet had. Crews who truly believed in their mission. Commander Beth Williams was now in charge of training new ship captains. She had seen the original battle and knew what it took to fight in space. Remember, she told a group of new captains, we're not fighting for territory or resources. We're fighting for people who can't fight for themselves. That makes us different from everyone else in the galaxy. Ma'am, a young captain asked, what if we run into an enemy that's too strong? What if we can't win? Beth smiled. Then we'll lose while trying to do the right thing. But I don't think that's going to happen. Do you know why? Why, ma'am? Because we're not fighting alone anymore. Every species we've helped is now our ally. Every innocent person we've saved is now our friend. The galaxy is choosing sides, and most of them are choosing us. It was true. The Zilani were building ships to fight alongside humans. The Corvins, after being rescued from their own genocide, were sharing their advanced shield technology. The Marani, saved from slavery, were providing their expertise in stealth technology. The galaxy was changing. For thousands of years, evil empires had conquered and destroyed with no one to stop them. Now there was someone who fought back, someone who protected the weak and punished the cruel. Captain Ryan Tucker received a priority message from Earth. He read it twice to make sure he understood. Sir, his communications officer said, what are your orders? We're going to war again, Ryan said. 3 systems at once. The hegemony survivors have joined with 2 other empires. They're planning a revenge attack on Earth. Are we ready? Ryan looked at his crew. They were humans and Zalani, working together. They were experienced. Now, they had fought and won. They were not the same people who had left Earth a year ago. We're ready. Send a message to all allied fleets. Tell them it's time to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth. The message went out across the galaxy. Human ships and their alien allies began moving toward the battle zone. It would be the biggest space battle in galactic history. But Ryan was not worried. The first battle had been about saving the Zalani. This battle would be about something bigger. It would be about establishing a new rule in the galaxy. Innocent people would be protected, and bullies would be stopped. Sir, Elder Zara said over the radio from her ship, the Zalani fleet is ready to fight alongside our human friends. Elder Zara, you don't have to do this. This is our fight. Admiral Morrison, when you first came to help us, you said humans don't abandon people who ask for help. Well, Zalani, don't abandon people who saved their entire species. We fight together. Similar messages came from dozens of other species. The galaxy was no longer divided between the strong and the weak. It was divided between those who protected the innocent and those who hurt them. And humanity had shown everyone which side they were on. The human fleet prepared for battle once again. But this time, they were not alone. They had allies. They had friends. They had a cause that united dozens of different species. As the ships moved toward the battle zone, Admiral Morrison sent one final message to Earth. This is Admiral Morrison reporting from the front lines. We are about to engage the enemy in what may be the most important battle in galactic history. We are fighting not just for Earth, but for the idea that innocent people deserve protection. We are fighting for the idea that good people should help each other. We are fighting for the idea that the strong should protect the weak. He paused and looked at the allied fleet around him. Ships from a dozen different species, all united by the same cause. Earth, we are no longer alone in the universe. We have friends. We have allies. And we have enemies who are about to learn what happens when you threaten people under our protection. The fleet engaged their engines and jumped to hyperspace. Behind them, Earth waited proudly. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited to see what this new alliance could accomplish. That the age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic justice had begun. And it all started because someone far away had asked for help, and humanity had answered.